I want to welcome you tonight. Wow, this is a great group for coming out on a dark. I was wondering how this would work, it's darker now. But anyway, I just want to welcome Chris and Brittany. Thank you so much for coming. And thank you all for coming. It's nice to be back. I was in China for 3 weeks and been a little bit sick, and so this is my first time back in a long time, but just wanted to welcome you. And Leah, I'll turn it over to you. Thank you. Our wonderful poetry coordinator.
Thank you, Jackie. Good to see you again at this amazing exhibit. I urge people to go to the back of the studio, and there's some more pottery pieces, ceramic pieces back there that are incredible. So check it out, and I love this. A touch of summer, even though we're in autumn. But yeah, oh good. Figured there'd be a few more people coming in. So tonight we're welcoming Brittany Corrigan and Clark County Poet Laureate Christopher Luna from the other side of the river. Thank you both for coming. And we're going to start out with Brittany. I think most everybody's been here before, but just in case you need to know, there's a restroom back there. There's some water if you get thirsty, so help yourself. Oh yes, the card. Thank you for reminding me, Joe. And the cards are for sale, so you can purchase from Jackie Jones back there behind the desk if you're so interested for $2.50 per card, and she'll give you an envelope if you choose a card. And she'll be coming out with some new wonderful photos of China from her trip. She's a consummate photographer. Most of these photos are her work, and she just took some beautiful photos. So be on the lookout. So anyway, let's get started with Brittany Corrigan. She is the author of the poetry collection Navigation, published by The Habit of Rainy Nights Press in 2012, and the chapbook 40 Weeks, published by Finishing Line Press 2012. It's funny, this afternoon I was looking for my own Finishing Line Press book on that site, and I saw Brittany's popped up first. So it's like exciting. Her poems have appeared widely in journals and anthologies, and she is the poetry editor for the online journal Hyperlexia, Poetry and Prose About the Autism Spectrum. Brittany lives in Portland, Oregon, where she is both an alumna and employee of Reed College. For more information, visit BrittanyCorrigan.com, and that's Brittany, B-R-I-T-T-N-E-Y, Corrigan. Anyway, let's welcome Corrigan.
Hello, thanks for coming, everyone. It's nice to see you all here. It's my first reading in glasses, so it's a recent acquisition. So I'm going to read you a handful of poems from Navigation and then some new work. So this book is in sections, sort of by theme, and the first section is all poems about family. So I'm going to start off with a poem called Birds of Passage. 1. You tell me there's a stunned bird on the sidewalk by the high-rise, people stepping aside as if it is nothing but a lost tourist. You are on the 18th floor, maybe thinking of the brother you lost, how he visits your sister's rooms, his voice on the wind. You don't know what kind of bird, some sort of hawk, don't know if it flew into a window, fell many stories. Is this how we are with our grief, not knowing building from sky? The police have closed a lane of traffic enough before rush hour that it doesn't make the news. We hope the phone will never ring again to tell us anyone we love has died. By the end of the day, the bird is gone, and I want to know where they've taken it, if wherever it is will ever be safe enough. 2. Several states away, the smoke of your brother pauses in the air. Another hawk flattens against a window. It is the house next door to your brother's birthplace. No barriers, only reservation stillness. So much sky to choose from, Who is he looking for, forgetting how to pass through walls? We open and close our palms, blow out candles, burn sage in the corners of rooms. The sky must be falling. Stars smack into our windows, storm clouds spill under our doors, and the birds double back on the wind, flying feet forward to land on our shoulders, whisper into our days, "We want to tell you something, but we keep losing our way." 3. 4 months to the day, and another relative dies. We expect a hawk to land on the windowsill, knocking. It is said that when someone we love has died, in 12 days will come a sign of safe passage. Now, all of us are looking out our windows, through our dreams, into faces of people we walk past, waiting for the message, hoping they will step out of a crowd, calling our names. So I grew up in Colorado. I've been out here now longer than I was there, but the second section of the book is all poems of place. So this is Denver's rain, which is very different than Portland's rain. Heavier and more dramatic, but less constant. So this is Denver's rain. The gutter in front of our house on Glencoe Street had a section wide and deep as the bowl of a pelvis, rimmed with asphalt that softened with the heat, fingered into the cracks of the concrete, steamed and hissed when the rains began. Late summer afternoons in Denver met thunderstorms, the sky opening and the full gong of the storm resounding in my 5-year-old body. Severe thunderstorm watch. It was still safe to be playing outside with my sister, the hose spreading sheets of water down the driveway and into the big gutter. My mother was still snapping beans on the front porch, silver mixing bowls at her brown bare feet. We could hear the wind leaning into the crabapple tree in the backyard with its moist breath of thunder, the tree rocking in and out of the dark sky and dropping its red fruit. Severe thunderstorm warning. We had to pull everything in, shut off the hose as the sky, cracking, let the first drops fall. We gathered up our cats as our mother collected her beans and moved us into the house. The small TV brightened before us, and we watched the weathermen on Storm Center 4 point out tornadoes, fascinated, secretly hoping one would head for our house. My mother tried to keep us away from the windows, but we wanted to watch the lightning, count the storm's movement toward us in the seconds between the split and the sky rolling itself whole again. Wanted to watch the big gutter fill until it spilled onto the sidewalk, the water rushing around the block like our dog when he got loose, hail the size of ping pong balls casting the lawn into winter. And we sat in the dark of the house, the crabapple tree losing leaves a season too soon, thinking of the possibilities of mud and bluing skies, the gutter now indistinguishable from the body of the storm. We're so quiet. All right. So the third section was all written post having children. And it's all poems about raising kids. Although this one is about my nephew and was written when he was, I think, about 6 months old. He just turned 16 last week. So this poem's for him for his 16th birthday. It's called Everything. Bah, bah, bah means everything. The dog scratching at the door for dinner, and you small, your sight grows longer, longer with each day. Your fingers learn to hold onto everything. Everything has a taste. The dog scratching at the door for dinner, you want to be there when he is fed, feel his fur in your fingers, learn to hold onto everything. When the woman who carries you steps out to feed the dog scratching at the door for dinner, you say, bah, bah, bah. mean everything, want to be outside with the dog, with the red hair of the woman, with the dog eating his dinner. Everything has a taste. You say, bah, bah, bah. 3 teeth coming in. Your teeth come in more with each day. Your fingers learn to hold onto everything. You say, bah, bah, bah. And mean the dog, mean where you want to be, outside the door. The woman with the red hair who carries you holds everything. So this one, we have this great plant called a night blooming cereus, which you're not familiar with, is this plant that blooms only at night and only once in a while, and the blossoms are about that big around, and they smell like the perfume counter at Nordstrom's. And but it's a really ugly, sort of nondescript looking plant. It's very gangly. It's a succulent, and it has stringy little things that come off of the thing. We've been carting this thing around for years and years and years, and it did exactly nothing because it really likes to be warm and sunny. But it's been in a north-facing window now for a while, and now it finally did something a while back, and it ended up being my window into being able to write this poem about the loss of some loved ones around us. So this is called What They Won't See. Finally, after unspectacular years in the windows of our small string of homes, our night blooming cereus is budding. A bud the size of an egg, wrapped in long purpled tendrils muzzling forward to the tip, perched at the end of a thick curving stalk. It is the last week of June in a summer slow to arrive, cast in cloud cover and rain after rain. We are tired. A week of children coughing in their sleep, of night terrors and moving from their bed into ours. But we will wake up, we will stay up to see it open. Perhaps tonight, perhaps tomorrow. Watch the tendrils peel back to reveal feathery white petals, a bird of a blossom spreading its full fragrant body forward into the dark. We don't want to miss it. But also today, I am thinking of what our dead are missing, what they won't see. Their deaths are still close, near enough that our children remember them with equal parts confusion and longing. Sometimes I can accept that they are gone, but not the morning we wake to find our son has grown taller overnight, not the day my husband arrives home from a long weekend trip to remark that our daughter is bigger. Her body fills up more space. Her toes reach out farther into the room. Not the times when these children unfurl with their growing so quickly you can almost see their young arms lengthening toward the sky. And I think, how can they be sleeping, our dead? Wake up. Be here to see this. You can't miss this flowering, this bloom. And then I'll give you some new things. So this one, I was a horse girl when I was a girl. A lot of girls were horse girls when they were girls. This is my horse girl. Horse girl. It's the smell coming off of them, the shimmering ripeness, rich earth and animal heat. The way her hand melts into their hides when she runs her fingers along the sinews of their necks, the brown bellow pulse of their sides. It's the warm breath from their soft nostrils, how it hovers around her face and climbs through her hair. The sound of the snorting and stamping, the way their manes fall in coarse tendrils past their ears, the shiver of their haunches alit with flies. The swish and slap of their tails against her legs crisp and growing. She now stands as tall as their eyes. She drapes her arms across their shifting backs. She traces the muscles of their flanks, the knobs of their fetlocks as she lifts and examines their hooves, adjusts her boots. Their strong hips, her strong hips, the toss of their heads, the toss of her head. She swings herself astride them, takes up handfuls of them, presses her young thighs into the round girth of their sides. The ferocious full speed of their flying, their bodies rippling as one body, the rush of the tussocks, oh, the sun as it comes down upon them with ethereal thirst, it can't get enough of them. Look at them, swift and fierce and bursting with a need they cannot hide. My new project, I'll try these out on you guys tonight. My new project is a set of persona poems, which when I was at Reed as a student at Reed, the senior thesis I did there was all persona poems looking at animal transformation motifs in mythology and folklore and fairy tales. And then I went away from that for a long, long time into more personal and sort of confessional poetry. And now I'm back to the persona poem, thanks to a workshop with Maxine Skates, who I also worked with at Reed when I was a student there, who had us bring a poem to a workshop where she asked us to bring something difficult to write about, workshopped it for a day, then the next day, she had us come back the next day, said write about the same subject, but write it as a persona poem, as a way of sort of getting at the material from a different angle. And that launched me right back into persona poems. So I've been writing a series of poems from the perspective of daughters of various mythological creatures and characters. So I'm going to give you a handful of them tonight. So this is Bigfoot's daughter. Northwest Evening Time. You want to believe in the bulk and brown of him reeling through the thicket, that flash you thought you saw, the eyes that spun. You want terror to walk beside you. You want the wild rush of escape. You want the story. You want to be alone with your fear, all of it true, your heart loud like a woodpecker striking the trees that seem no longer peaceful, but sentient and poised to uproot. That cry in the woods that swallows all other sound. But look, what I want you to see is like birdsong. The lifting that comes from such beauty, the way the trills and warbles sift through the stalling rain, a light on the ghost of our breath, congregate and hover as the forest hums. My father, he is fine-furred and tawny, eyes green as fiddlehead ferns. Tangled and swift with his stories, his laughter sweeps through the undergrowth, bends you aside. I place my small footprints in his footprints, leave you stunned. If you watch the edges of his heart gentle forth through his body, soft and blurred and glowing, will you change your mind about the monster? Witness the glisten and tremble, the moon gazing down on the paws of the lake, like that, the dark not so complete. My father, I ride on his shoulders, bring the sky down with my singing, fill your chest with a joy you can't explain. We can make you believe what you saw in the woods is something fierce and secret, the story of your own longing, but not yours to claim. So, this one's a little darker. This one's the boogeyman's daughter. After the night of frightening is over, when my father has fallen asleep at the back of the closet, the shadows of his limbs smudging out from beneath the crumpled clothes, with the girl child at school and the house closed up and still, I spider my gangly nails around the doorframe, tilt my head into the empty room. I roll and curl up in the bedclothes, suck in the smell of the youngling as the birds outside the window teeter and veer. The climbing sun is uncertain where to cast her light. I crouch and hunker down beside the tea set, lean in close to the bears and dogs on their haunches of beans. How I spill my umbral hands into each cup, lift them to the bestial mouths, stitched neat and prim, the glassy animal eyes, the clips and shine. I ooze myself into the wooden box of toys, nest with the dolls and their oleander hands, their silky twisting curls. Lines of ceramic horses watch me from shadowbox stalls, my eyes reflected in their eyes, the crests of their fragile carved manes. I press my head to the doll cheeks, sink farther in. I like to slip into the corner by the bookshelf, crack back the spines and balance my breath so the pages flutter and rise. How the alphabets shiver and whir, bewitching the pictures of flowers, the drawings of trees. I rest my darkling face against the paper, close my eyes and imagine a din of leaves. Dear girl thing, I do what I can to make sure you won't waken. My lullabies are only a whisper in my father's black wail. But someday he will leave us behind, darken the window and abandon this tender room. Ah, then I can lie down beside you in the moonglow, nuzzle and kiss your warm eyelids, blow into your ear a sweet dream. I'm going to leave you with The Lion Tamer's Daughter. I want to show you them too. They're in these little, I've been having fun with this. They're in these little 6x6s. I haven't written in form in a long time yet. So that's been fun, launching into each new voice and knowing that's what I got to work with. So, all right, 6x6. Lion Tamer's Daughter. I was raised between the jaws of cats triple my size, teeth long as hairpins and paws that could pull down the sun. The straggle of their manes against the bars, the heat of their voices before the whip, cindered eyes on my father. At night, the panthers measure their cages, obsidian bodies seething in the dark, sleek throats a storm of guttural mewling as I fling them their meat, skim my fingers past their thrashing tails while they lick and swallow and tear. The tigers with their fur like Persian carpet, thick and persimmon bright, the fall of their stripes in undulations and ripples, the striding of their haunches and flanks, how the slender height of my father pins that power beneath their skins, how they pant. And the leopards with hides full of eyes, one spot after another backed onto each platform until they open their mouths at my father and fury tumbles out with fear. The crack of the whip against the earth of the arena, the tension in the stands. But the lions, the caves of their maws, snouts snarled back around their dens of teeth, and my father, how he softens the whip in one hand, takes the thick tendrils of their manes within the other, and lays his head upon their thrumming tongues. Each night, the big tent empty and the cats re-snared, I walk the ring of cages with my bucket of meat. Green eyes plead and threaten in the stench. I could unlock each latch, spring free each door. The cats would set upon me with gratitude and rage. One way or the other, they'd take me in.